Episode 3 of The Rings of Power aired. I watched it, not on Amazon, so you don't have to. Let's talk about the mess, shall we? First things first, this episode seems to be worse than the first two. Characterization is all over the place. The pacing is extraordinarily bad, to the point that when it slows down to a snail's pace, literally the life support machine is keeping it going. Characters are badly written, and there's a lot of uncomfortable and weird moments with these characters as well. The dialogue is as cringy and as poorly written as ever, and actually downright cheesy. It's not even bad, it's just cheesy, and not in an endearing, fun, nice way. It's cheesy in a I'm slightly embarrassed to be watching this way. Episode 3 follows Galadriel on her journey as always, and trying to replicate the Fellowship of the Ring. And another character finds himself captive. Galadriel and another character explore a legendary kingdom, and another character is given a new assignment, and another character face consequences. This is so choppy. Like, multiple POVs are great in a story. They are. Game of Thrones does it very well. But there's always breathing room. There's no breathing room in this. Stuff just happens, and it gets frustrating. There were times when I was watching this and I downright burst out laughing. Galadriel, OP person of the year who can somehow jump off a boat and swim the Atlantic Ocean, comes across cold and indifferent throughout this, or just angry. The angry woman trope in fiction is getting really old. I talked about that in another video and got called an incel. That's fun. And I do love the fact that Amazon right now are trying to save this sinking ship. The desperation that I'm feeling from them is hilarious. Everything is being weaponized. If you do not like our show, you are an ist of some kind. And it's kind of pathetic. I don't know how they've got to this point, and I don't know where they're going with this. This episode was basically content. It was filler. There was no rhyme or reason. It barely pushed any story forward. Again, with the cheesy and poor writing that is also uncomfortable in places, that it just feels so disjointed. And the characterization of everyone is reasonably inconsistent, to the point that I do wonder if it's even written by the same people. My same criticisms still stand of the first two episodes. The CGI is very hit and miss. When it looks good, it looks good. When it looks bad, oh mother of God, it looks like a PS1 game. You know, the FMV sequences. The costumes still look cheap. There is no saving those costumes at this point. And why, just side note to previous episodes, why is there dwarven stuff on elven costumes? Just a thing. And why is it swapped around? But anyway. Oh, and gold laurels. I don't get it. What's with the Roman thing? I don't know how they've got to this point, and I've, again, the same criticism, that I don't recognise this story. I don't recognise these characters from Tolkien's work. I don't recognise the characterisation, let alone the story, and that's where it kind of is falling apart. The fact that House of Dragons is beating this really does say everything, doesn't it? The House of the Dragon is a phenomenal show, and I talked about that in another video, several videos actually. But this series is really just falling flat on its face, to the point that it's becoming a cosmic joke. I don't get how they've got to this point, and I don't know where they're going to dig themselves out of it. If this show makes season 2 with the delays and everything that's happening, I will be shocked. But the quality of this show is not here. If you want cheesy, fun fantasy, watch Xena. Xena Warrior Princess has better dialogue, better characterization, better looking costumes, and in some cases better looking fight sequences than this mess. The characters are bland and flat and one note. I mean, Galadriel has all the characterization of Michael from Star Trek, and that's not a compliment. This episode is embarrassing, and the pacing and the writing and just the whole structure of this fall apart. They're trying to tell this multi-arc story, yet they're not telling a multi-VOP story. They are telling that it's just, it happens. And that's a real shame. And like I said, the just overall cringy and embarrassing. And I do wonder, after coming out of this, Like, I think I said this before, the best part of Rings of Power is the music. The music's actually very good, for very obvious reasons. Why is the sound mix weird? I played with every setting on my television to watch this. And a few people have said this to me, even on Amazon Prime, the sound mix is weird. And it kind of shows. I went through every speaker from stereo to surround to every function, all 120 options. And the sound mix is strange. Voices drowned each other out. Special effects seem lower than the talking. There's obviously a lot of ADR going on here. And why is there a CGI filter over Galadriel's face a lot of the time? I don't get what they're trying to do with this series. And episode 3 just feels more disconnected and disjointed than the first 2 episodes. They're trying to tell a story that doesn't exist. And they've just made this debacle. Overall, 1.5 out of 5 stars. Overall, a mess. Overall, disjointed and ugly. Overall, terrible. And I'm going to put this one into the mix as well. Stop weaponizing criticism, Amazon. It's not a good look.